Kingdom. I'm Dalsy, joined by my beautiful co-casters and analysts and friends. It is Ox and Celtic Tiger here. I got closer to Ox. He was feeling a little bit, left out. So I wanted to make sure I could give him, the back rubs and show him that I love him and show him that he's well valued here on the team.
I appreciate it. It's cold over there in the corner. It is.
Well, don't tell me that. I have to go there now.
Yep, unlucky. It's a fun experience.
Forge of Champions. Let's talk about that a little bit. I'm sure there's some people tuning in wondering what's going on. Forge of Champions, it's a 4-tournament process. There's 4 qualifying tournaments where players earn points, which lead into a grand finals, which will be happening at the end of August, early September. The tournaments are split into 2 stages. You have the open qualifier stage, where teams from all around the United Kingdom and Ireland can sign up. Anyone is welcome to sign up. Even if you don't have a team and you're a solo player, you can sign up and we'll put you with people. You go through a single elimination bracket. The top 8 teams come out of that into the scoring tournament, where they will face up against the 8 premiership teams from last split to try and score points, which ultimately will lead to the grand finals.
Yep, grand finals will be broadcasted from Barcelona. Teams will be coming live and playing, so great experience for anyone who can make it to that point. And on top of that, 2 spots in the European Masters out for grabs. One of them for winning the whole grand final, and then one for getting the most points in the qualifying tournament. So if you're interested, get signed up, forgechampions.com.
That's it.
And get competing.
Yeah, and of course, we'd love to hear from you guys. What are you thinking so far? Follow on Twitter at LVPUK. Use the hashtag ForgeOfChampions1 and tell us exactly what you think of this this beautiful green top that Ox is kind of showing us here.
It's got little cranes on it. Like, they're quite cute. Do you not think?
I like them.
I mean, I thought yours had beards on as well, but they're just little spirals. I'm not as impressed. Well, actually, flowers. They look, I thought we could be matching.
1-0 to Ox, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Well, 1-0, while we've been on cast.
Oh dear. And of course, the VODs available on YouTube the day afterwards. You're going to be able to find them on Forge of Champions as well. Moving into what this matchup will be, we can have a quick look at the bracket, I'm sure, to just kind of see exactly what's gone on and what these teams are going to be. Of course, it is going to be EXCEL Esports versus MNM Gaming for this next matchup. And of course, tomorrow, Enclave, Diablos, Misfits, and Super Duper Giant Truck Team! My favorite team to ever qualify for anything ever.
We're allocated a certain amount of time to say each name, so because the name's so long, we have to fit it in. It gets really difficult.
And my voice goes high-pitched.
Yeah.
It's a sad side effect of being me. Next match, of course, let's move on into it. EXCEL versus MNM Gaming, and this is a biggie. EXCEL have had a pretty enormous showing recently in the UK. They've just been getting better and better and better, and then they got rid of one of their best players, unfortunately, when he retired, to become undefeated in the UK scene.
Yeah, I won a split, and then I retired. So, I'm still a reigning champion. What can I say?
I mean, you're doing better than Faker.
Yep, that's what Faker's mistake was. He didn't retire, and now he's fallen. And
yeah, he managed to win 2 other world champions. It was horrible.
I'm pretty sure the UK scene is a bit more difficult than World Championship. Has Faker ever won the UK scene?
No. I don't think so. No. There you go. Nice one.
Not yet, but I've heard some talks of imports next split, but I'll keep that hush for now.
SKT UK. MNM, a team that's been around for yonks. They've done really well. Unfortunately, last split didn't really have as good of a performance in the Premiership, finishing 7th position, but they're not a team that you can just kind of count out.
I think that's the thing, is that, both of these teams are grassroots UK teams. They've built their way up, and they both have a really good pedigree. EXCEL has been better recently. They had a great show in the EU Masters. They came 2nd last split, 1st the split before. But MNM are a team who they've won the UK scene, the Premiership, 3 times, which is monumental. I don't think any orgs can really make claim to that. So huge achievement for them. And yes, they've been struggling a bit more recently, but they have a really solid roster they've picked up now. And I think this is the first big test for them. And it's not just a thing of, can they beat EXCEL? Because maybe they don't. The thing is, can you challenge them? And that's the key thing, because obviously each tournament's going to be worth more points. There's a grand finals. I don't think MNM need to come out and win this entire thing to show that they're a good team. I think they just need to put up a good performance against EXCEL and show that they're here to play for 1st place spot.
Well, let's quickly go over the rosters. It's Igloo, Hades, Shockwave, Jokerism, and Shogun for MNM. And we'll talk about it a little more as we'll be jumping into the picks and bans as well. EXCEL have Sendo, Taxa, Rippy, Venzar, and Quicksef. So that's what you need to look out for as we do get onto this. EXCEL, of course, is going to be on the blue side. battling away that Nidalee, which yesterday Hades played for every game.
Yeah, I checked out his Twitter earlier, and he had a picture of Nidalee on his Twitter. So
oh dear.
Seems to be quite a big fan. Maybe that's how you do your scouting. You know, go to their Twitter, if they have a champion anywhere on it, just ban it. I'm pretty sure that's what EXCEL did. Can't fail.
Can't fail.
That's why you just leave Nunu on the front of your page.
True, that would be a good... Yeah, why didn't they put like Teemo on the front? Yeah. Oh, well, now you've just sussed it out. But yeah, regardless,
counterplay.
Actually, two really heavy farm clear junglers coming out as a ban. So it seems like they're trying to focus Hades' pool. In return, we're seeing... I mean, technically 2 mid lane bans, because yes, you can flex to the Irelia, but we tend to see them both mid lane.
Right.
So clearly trying to push down on Rippy's pool, and gotta wonder which will have more effect. I have actually spoken to the management at EXCEL, and one of the big reasons they picked up Rippy was a really solid champion pool and just a solid individual player who they can rely on, because they have the carry in Venza, and yeah, it looks like they're trying to focus down on that rock they have in the mid lane.
Which is interesting, because that was one of the things that you could potentially fault EXCEL on before, was that their previous mid laner's pool was a little bit empty. This time they have someone in the sense of Rippy who's going to be able to really provide whatever you need.
Yeah, I mean, Krimel was a big Taliyah player, so this is a nice little send-off for him. Lock that in first as soon as you leave the guy.
Yeah, and advantage of this pick. We did see it banned consistently in the last series. It can be flexed. Well, obviously the obvious one's mid. It can go jungle. It can go AD carry, and fast lock in. And we've talked about how a lot of AD carries, despite this new meta where you can play different things bot lane, a lot of the AD carries in the UK, they want to play these AD carries, and the best of them at the moment is this Lucian. Joe Chrism's picked it up, he wants to lock it in, and not only that, they followed up with the form.
That's the interesting thing. EXCEL haven't picked Lucian up at all in their games so far. They've played Xayah, they've played Draven. So clearly EXCEL don't care. They're very happy to allow that Lucian go over. They've locked in that Taliyah. Taxes play that quite a lot. And then there's the Kalista coming through. Yeah,
so Kalista obviously something very strong in lane. Lucian Braum is one of the stronger 2v2s, but you have Kalista, you could have the option of picking up something that complements it, like the Thresh, a very strong 2v2, which I've gone for. Kalista did get slight buffs this patch on her E damage ratio. But, you know, I was going to talk about this before the game. Joe Chrism and Shogun, a very strong lane and bot lane from the UK. And then Venza with his new support Quickset, very talented. And this is definitely the matchup to watch this game. And I think that with the picks, this is going to be a volatile lane phase.
Yeah, and Kalista Thresh always wants to go into the early lanes, start grabbing themselves a lead up against Lucian Braum. That won't be easy. What you're talking about, Kalista was just buffed. Again, getting indirect buffs with Blade of the Ruin King, having its price reduced as well. So could see that come out early too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really important. And, you know, Venza, a really just solid AD carry. You know, might not be the flashiest when it comes to in-lane play, but when it comes to the team fights, you can rely on him to clean up everything necessary, and that's what EXCEL will be looking to him for. Bans so far, Cassiopeia comes out. There's that rise aimed at Shockwave. Be really interested to see if this just continue being mid-focused. And whilst it was all happening, Kha'Zix got locked in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think you have to go for Qmax Kha'Zix now. It's got really good objective control, but it hasn't got as amazing ganks that it had previously with that ult evolve where you can just show up in the lane suddenly.
Yeah, I think if it does get on top of the Taliyah though, it's really difficult. It's like you can get the extra movement speed from your ult from activating it.
Yep.
And if you don't land your seismic shove onto the Kha'Zix, you're pretty much dead.
All right, well, we're looking for that in the jungle. Camille and Swain, your final bans, very mid-heavy. Leaving that Orianna open, going to be locked up for Shockwave.
Yeah, I like this from MNM. So they've gone very heavy with the mid bans. By banning the Cassiopeia, EXCEL expected maybe a rise, and so ban it themselves. And now the pool has been limited so much, they go for a safe Orianna pick. And you got to ask yourself, what can Rippy pick here?
I mean, the Taliyah has been picked up.
I mean, the Taliyah is still an option, Lulu's still an option. Yeah. So, you know, I say that, but you've just corrected me and made me look stupid.
I think Lulu is something that Rippy's picked up before. Could be good here as well with Kalista. Can be super annoying to get on her once you got Thresh helping her too.
Got coming through.
Right, so this sort of speaks testament to Igloo's career. He sort of joined the UK scene on Enclave and had a wide champion pool, but then on his next team, Diabolus, he was sort of just put on tank duty. This says to me that Sendo is confident that he's going to pick a tank because Irgot does well in those matchups. So it'll be interesting to see if Igloo does stick to that or if he's willing to go for a better lane matchup into that. And as you were saying, we will see the Lulu come out for Rippy.
Yep, I think it makes sense here. You know, you can help out Taxer, and you have so many carries already on the side of on your team, especially now that you've locked the Urgot. You have a lot of damage in fights. Rippy can just help by making sure no one goes down.
I mean, Igloo played for Enclave. It was kind of a star-studded roster where he didn't quite fit in. He does like to carry. We'll have to see if he does go for that, or potentially just lock in the Dr. Mundo. Received a couple of nerfs, but I mean, nothing significant.
Yeah, late game lost 20 AD. That was not Mundo's issue. The fact is he is still unkillable in a lot of cases. Urgot, one of the few things that might be able to take it to him, though.
All right, we'll have to find out. That's the compositions listed out. We've got a lot of time to talk about them, gentlemen. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Jokerism faces up against Venza. Jokerism has just kind of been the gatekeeper of AD carries in the UK. You know, he's always been up there, potentially not outperforming them, but still, you have to respect him.
I think Jokerism, he's never been the best UK, the best AD carry in the UK scene, but he's always been a solid player. And I think particularly his laning phase is what he excels at, having personally played with him in the past when we were both actually on XL. So it'll be interesting to see how the laning phase goes. And I think the one issue I see with MNM's draft compared to XL is that it's not just the enemy 2 lane opponents you're laning against. You're dealing with 2 TPs. He's laning with a Talia who has an ult to move there. There's a lot more global pressure, which could be a big issue.
I think I would like to move back looking at history, even more recent history, with both Venzer and Quickseth on different teams. Venzer had an amazing showing on Caitlyn up against Origin. Almost managed to get XL out from the eventual winners of the European Masters. And on top of that, you had Quickseth get the Meisterschaft, their only win on the SPG Esports. A team, honestly, that didn't expect to go super far from having talked to them. Managed to pick up the only win that the Meisterschaft got, so maybe now that he's moved from that team, can pick up more than just a single win.
I mean, that's the thing. Quickseth has moved over to XL. He's actually become the lead shot caller, so we're told as well. And XL picking up Rippy just to become a core communicator, something that they felt like they have struggled with in the past. So XL solidifying their roster, bringing in some good raw talent, and it's shown, so far against Overheat in their round of 16 game, they were closing things out fast. A 19-minute, 4-second win where they went 35-3 with a 20,000 gold lead. That just shows that they want to execute.
Yeah, absolutely dominant. You can see from their draft this game, they're going for the similar sort of thing. They have a very early game focused comp. They want to get a lead bot lane, they want to get a lead top lane, and they want their jungler and mid to sort of facilitate that as well. On the side of MNM, I feel like they have the scaling advantage. If they get that Mundo to late game, it's going to be very hard to deal with it. Kalista can stack up like 60,000 spears on him, still probably won't kill him. And then you have the Orianna, and although Lucian's not as good in the late game, he still is an AD carry, he can provide a lot of damage.
My worry for them in the late game is you picked up Kha'Zix here, and he doesn't really fit into that at all. And you have Kalista and even Lulu to deny him early on.
Yep.
I'm not super convinced by this pick. I would like to see Hades prove me wrong and start, invading the jungle, jumping on the Talia, as you mentioned, which is the strength of picking Kha'Zix into Talia.
Yes.
See if they can make that work.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be how he plays these late game team fights, because a good Kha'Zix can make a massive impact, can constantly be a source of threat, and on your backline, or, it can be a useless champion that gets one hit.
Even his objective control could help them out in the early game so that they can get to that late game.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be an important point on which dragons come up, because obviously if you're wanting to control these early objectives and you want to pick up these early dragons, you get a couple of Infernals on your belt, great. If you get a couple of Ocean Drakes, as we saw
Not
with
so
Phelan,
solid.
yeah.
Well, we've heard from you guys on your thoughts. Lots of things coming into this matchup, and I'm sure it's going to be a corker. But of course, we'd love to hear from you guys back at home. Tweet us at LVPUK, hashtag Forge of Champions 1 for this first qualifying tournament. Who do you think is going to take it? MNM versus EXCEL. They are household names here in the United Kingdom, and that's what makes this matchup so great. The one that does progress is going to have such an easier time when it comes to those later stages in this scoring section of the qualifying tournaments to actually make it all the way to the grand finals.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw on Twitter earlier some people making their opinion that they thought EXCEL would be the one to win out this entire tournament after their roster changes. So if MNM did come in and upset them, then quite frankly, why wouldn't they replace them as a team who could go all the way?
Yeah. Absolutely. I was looking at EXCEL even straight off the European Masters, anything else. They've looked like one of the strongest UK teams. Can they continue that form here?
And, it's interesting, we've kind of highlighted the fact that EXCEL so far against an open qualifier team shut things out very quickly. MNM is the team that's had the longest games on average so far in this scoring stage. A 29-minute game, a 30-minute, 3-minute and a half. They're not super long, but they are the longest out of everyone else. And so that kind of goes towards their favor. They've built a composition that wants to fight in the late game, you know, get that Aurea in there, get that Mundo in there in the late game, and really try and take out these high priority targets.
And I think, yeah, their draft tells it. It's slow and steady wins the race. Clearly they're the tortoise, so hopefully any MNM fans will be on the side of the tortoise for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. The issue being that the hair just has to not fall asleep when they win.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess it's the same with like any sort of League of Legends game. Just don't int, and you should be good. Fingers
Solid
crossed.
advice. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to be jumping into the game. It's where we say goodbye to you, Celtic Tiger. Joined with me is Ox as we come back to us to do some weird movements.
Oh, this is so you kick me off, but then the second you're like, oh, you know, you'll get your alone time, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give it to you. I'm just gonna give you your alone time. You look like you need it. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Celtic Tiger. Ox, time to cuddle. I'll be the big spoon. You can be the little.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
Oh, you mean in the game? Sorry, I just thought till well, you know, you flustered me. Yeah, both teams going for pretty defensive starts, just covering entrances of the jungle. You know, it's interesting because I feel like both teams have potential to go for some level 1, but not risking it. So I've seen some pings come out actually on the red side jungle, and it looks like EXCEL might go for a late invade. Tricky one though. Mundo, very good at this sort of level 1 stage, just has to keep launching cleavers at you.
Yeah, potentially just worried that maybe the invades start early with Hades onto Tax. So that's something that we want to be watching is how these junglers do play around each other.
Yeah, that's something we saw. We are actually seeing an invade on the top side.
Alrighty, let's see what they can do. Taxa and Sendo moving on in. It is going to start to push these guys backwards off of the red buff. Will they be able to win the smite more is the real question. Resetting the red buffer like this makes it a little bit harder, but maybe they find first blood. Igloo forced to flash over the wall, and Rippy not quite in position due to Shockwave zoning to be able to secure that kill.
Yeah, and it looks like the reward might well be
another kill.
Yeah, they're forcing Hades out.
Yeah, Hades actually forced completely out of his jungle. How do you stop a Kha'Zix from snowballing on you?
Don't let him take any camps, to be honest, I guess, is the strategy. I mean, a good invade from EXCEL, and it just shows they know the power of this sort of level 1. They have a range advantage. They have the Q and slaves who can do a lot of damage, and they end up getting a red buff picked up. We actually saw it in this series with Phelan and Wind and Rain. Both games, the jungler would start their red buff, take the skull, and cross to the other side. Taxa not even letting that happen. He's decided he's taking the enemy jungle, but he's getting his too.
Oh, he might actually even go straight for the scuttle here, or even into the blue buff. We'll have to see what he does do as he moves his way into the river here. Be a massive power play if he was able to take both these buffs off, but potentially dangerous as well.
Yeah, and you can see he did pick up the skull, and I don't think he's aware of exactly where Kha'Zix will be. I mean, he wouldn't be because he's come from base, but they would be so devastating if Kha'Zix got invaded on his blue as well. But looks like Tax is just going to head over to maybe the top side skull or potentially his own blue. He's happy just clearing 80% of the jungle to himself.
I mean, that's the thing. Taxa takes the Rift Scuttle, so when you see that from MNM, you decide, okay, well, he's on his bot side, he's going to go top. Maybe potentially then you clear out your top side, go bot, get the red buff, and then you surprise the enemy because you're suddenly on bot side.
Yeah, he's covering his own bases, and I feel he's in a situation where Hayes is limited to one quadrant of his jungle. And all he has to do is just stop him from crossing the river. He's picked up both Scuttle Crabs, he's going to pick up his own blue buff, and then no doubt go for his own red. Huge chest advantage and gold advantage already, so props to Tax for playing this early game out well.
Yeah, absolutely. Currently, MNM on the back foot just slightly due to the fact that Hades has been put behind in this jungle clear. We've already talked a bit about Kha'Zix's kind of feast or famine. You really don't want to start famining right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a big thing is getting to the level 6 is going to be impactful, because as soon as that happens, any plays you make across the map, I mean, it's not quite the Nocturne level, but Tax is going to turn up.
On a wall and a surfboard.
Yeah, surfing up. Yeah, surfs up.
Alrighty. Igloo currently just doing his best to farm up, but you can start to see a bit of a CS lead coming through for Sendo already. I mean, Sendo's had so much experience. He's in fact played on the EULCS stage for G2 as well, which is quite a big deal when you're playing against someone who is clearly pretty good at League of Legends.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that Sendo has, you know, mountains of experience, and although it was brief, he did play on the EULCS stage as a sub. And I think that lends himself, he's confident in this matchup, and he's starting to get a lead, but props to Igloo, he's not really struggling as of now, and there is a scaling advantage in this top lane. I mean, Irgot's going to really pick up when he gets a Black Cleaver, that's when he has a big kill threat and he has his ult. But if Igloo manages to get to like this 3-4 item point without the game ending, then it's going to be so hard for anyone really to put them down.
I mean, we know that Taxa has already done a heck of a good job already of snowballing this jungle, but look how many creeps he has over him. Whole 32 to 38, 18 here. Do see Taxa as well on this bot side, as EXCEL almost trying to bait Jokerism and Shogun into a fight.
Yeah, EXCEL going aggressive as I had their jungler there, but you see, Jokerism and Shogun are just happy to trade back into them, and this is the sort of power of not just the 2v2 champions they pick, but their laning prowess is that,
Setting up for a
although
dive
they are
here.
shoved in here, so...
Yeah, Taxa is here, tries to land. Here comes the Lulu as well. It's going to be a big push as Rippy flashes on in. Eager as he is, not going to be able to find anything. And now EXCEL are just forced to fall back past this turret. And there's a teleport coming in from Igloo. It potentially is danger for EXCEL as Venza going to get cleaved. It has to flash on over. Igloo trying to take down Quickstep as he gets stunned up. But the first kill is for Taxa. 2 in fact. And he's looking for more. It's 3 kills over to EXCEL. It's gone all wrong for them. Only 1 found. MNM couldn't quite clean up, and EXCEL 3-1.
I was just going to compliment MNM. I was saying how good of a read it was from Jokerism and Shogun. They back off from the tower, they stop the dive, Rippy even wastes his flash, and then they decide to TP. It's a Mundo. He's level 5. What's he going to do? He ends up just running at them. They almost trade him for Quickset, and then in the end they do get the kill on Quickset, but they lose so much of it when Sendo's TP comes in. And
the saddest thing is, after that teamfight happens, Shockwave levels up to level 6. Here's the replay of how that went down.
Yeah, you can see Igloo gets so low even before they kill Quickset. They ends up trading 2 for 1 at the start, and then there's a no-mana Jokerism who flashed in to finish that kill off. Easy cleanup for Sendo there.
Very, very nice stuff coming through from EXCEL.
Yeah, and it just sets a precedent for this game. They have a decent CS lead already and some extra gold in the bot lane, and you can see items picked up already. Venza's going to put them in the advantage, and Quickset actually picked up Moby Boots and is starting to make use of this Thresh's role mobility. He's now probably, you know, this is the style you want to go for. Quickset is an aggressive playmaker, and as you said, now the primary shot caller for EXCEL, he wants to be dotting around the map, but now Venza is alone.
Yeah, Venza is alone, and he is going to be slowed on down, trying to use that mobility, but can't do the trick. Hades able to find that kill, nice and simple. 3 men in the bot lane. Let's see how much damage they get down.
So props to MNM. They saw an opportunity. Quickset went for a roam, but the timing wasn't right, and Venza got left alone and punished. And I think they actually have a chance to threaten this turret right now. Half HP and only Quickset to defend.
Yeah, nothing really that Quickset can do with those Moby Boots. Just can go fast and escape potentially, but MNM striking hot. That's going to be first brick going their way. The gold lead that EXCEL has already accumulated for themselves going to be a bit mute as MNM going to chunk that out.
Yeah, and they managed to equalize in the gold lead, but just a huge thing, you pick this Kalista Thresh lane and actually seen some action top lane.
So let's make sure to put him on backwards. Mundo going to pop his ultimate. Grievous Wounds currently working its way. The flash is paused, but Taxa wants more. Not quite able to connect the dots just yet, which means Igloo will be fine, but he's kind of just threatening, nothing really coming his way. That Orianna's still in the mid lane.
I understand the mindset from Taxa. A play's been made bot against your team. You want to counter it top with something, but it gets really hard to force on this Mundo. He has his level 6, he had his flash, and although they managed to force them, they trade a flash themselves, and they've already not only lost their bot tower, but now MNM are setting up to take the tower top as well. And with Rift Herald spawning, they're going to have more advantages from the top side of the map than EXCEL will get from the bot. Yeah,
potentially a late recall from Igloo. We'll have to see if EXCEL can do some damage to this tower as he gets put in the 2v1 lane. But MNM just striking right back in the macro play. Pretty happy to just move around here, and you can see kind of that experience that comes out from some of these UK players.
Yeah, just really well played. I mean, the dive was a great read because we saw a big misplay from MNM, but to bring that back and not lose the confidence, it shows the experience from Hades. And he is someone who has actually won the... oh, that was close. He's won the Benelux League.
Oh, Taxa? Maybe caught out. This is the matchup we were talking about. Taxa, what can he do? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy is going to be the kill for Hades, but oh dear, maybe Igloo in trouble. Ultimate not ready. Igloo can't heal on up, and he will be rendered to death.
Yeah, good play from Hades there, and it just shows the matchup. If you, like, Taxa been his flash top lane, very vulnerable, and if you don't hit that seismic shove, you're so easy to pick off from this Kha'Zix. Good trade in return from Venz and Quickset. Igloo just overstepped, but oh, Sendo can actually defend this.
Yeah, absolutely. Not going to be able to take this turret just yet. MNM, another wave pushing on in. depending on the wave clear, might be able to threaten. I don't think Sendo really wants to get on in there.
Off now. Unless, I mean, he still seems he might defend it. Oh, so we're seeing the play top. Taxa walks in the brush, isn't aware of Hades. Good old pop, just giving invisibility. Taxa didn't even go for the seismic shot. I think he just knew he was dead there. And then on the bot side of the map, no flash, no ult from Mundo. He's just trapped down. Easy for Venza to build up some Ren stacks and get the kill locked in. And then it looks like EXCEL did manage to pick up the Ocean Drake. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what Taxa likes to do. You see some things maybe not going ideal on the other side of the map. They were losing the top tower, so we trade to the other side. Although an Ocean Drake isn't a great consolidation prize, it's something.
Yeah, no, it is something. That's absolutely it. Hades just in here to make sure that Rift Scuttler goes the way of red. MNM going to be happy with that one. Sendo thought he was doing a good job.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. You know, he's trying so hard. He's like, hey, Taxa, I've got a scuttle no, never mind. Sorry, buddy. Just gave him a free leash.
Unlucky. I mean, so far Hades has shown that he's got done a really good job of trying to control this this Talia. But EXCEL still very feisty. Gold fairly even, but it does look like EXCEL are the ones who want to try and take control over this Rift Herald objective.
Yeah, so both bot lanes now matching each other again. They've taken a bunch of objectives, and EXCEL have gone top to try and take this top tower.
Echo might just be in trouble here. Nope, Sendo's not going to walk in just yet.
But it's good movements from Quickseth and Taxa. They're moving together to establish vision control, and you can see they want this play towards the top side. They want MNM's bot lane to step up, but Hades is waiting in the wings. I
mean, Rippy's roaming up as well, but of course that Rift Scuttler providing the vision necessary to make sure that they don't fall a prey.
I think this is a difficult thing, is because if EXCEL manage to make a good play and start to snowball, maybe get the top tower on the Herald, they're in a good position to follow the trajectory they wanted for this game. But if they make another misplay and it turns around on MNM, I feel like they're going to struggle to find a point in the game where, you know, they can actually make use of their composition.
Oh, it is going to be Shockwave, potentially caught out just a little bit from Taxa, great seismic shove, and that's a lot of damage onto Shockwave right there. You have to think that this mid lane could potentially just be the area of focus now for EXCEL, and that takes the pressure off MNM, or puts the pressure onto them, but also takes the pressure off on the top side.
Yeah, and you can see Hades just waiting in this bush, waiting for the setup. Will Venza and Quickseth step up? They're playing with some respect.
Oh, they're going in. Absolutely. Venza completely caught out. Teleport channeled as well, but it's not necessary. Shogun just making the plays.
Oh, what a great play from Shogun. I was saying, Quickseth is playing a bit back. He has the lantern ready. It's thrown. It's taken, but the Braum ult interrupts. Such confidence. Flashing in and getting the ult down, and they're rewarded with a Herald in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Going straight on into that, of course. Hades can sync it up himself, take it on out. It is a big push in this bot side as Taxa moves on in. Quickseth just barely missing that hook there. Looks like this turret may just fall. Really good answer from EXCEL here to find more objectives.
Yeah, and this is Taxa 101. You go across the map and get a cross-map objective, and actually seen some aggression here.
Yeah, no, it is going to be this Rift Herald slightly contested by Quickseth. Does get picked up, of course. Hades now running. Jokerism with the flash. Such well timed. Outplaying Quickseth there.
Oh, that is some clean play from Jokerism.
Here's that replay, though, of the beautiful Braum ult.
Yeah, so you see Hades goes in. Quickseth knows it's coming. Puts the lantern down. Ult interrupts the pull. Oh. Unfortunate time for Venza. It was a dire situation. If you didn't take the lantern then, you were pretty much dead. But great interrupt from Shogun, and what a reward from it. They did manage to get the Herald and get out. So 3-0 Kazakhs now, and we were talking about this pick. It needs to snowball, and I think you can safely say it has.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh man, I just love the prediction plays. It makes for some great entertainment here. MNM holding on in. The goal lead is even, and EXCEL haven't quite found the entry point they need to snowball. That's what MNM want. They want to go into the late game.
Something I would like to see, though, is the difference in gold between the individual players, because obviously the gold is equal, but if you look at top lane, big CS discrepancy. If you look at AD carry, there's 2 kills on the side of Calista, so if we could throw out the gold there, we can just have a look between who has the advantages.
I'm sure that will come through in a second, Ox, but
I'm willing it to happen. Hoping for it soon, but maybe not. In the meantime, we'll see Quickseth trying to get some control of this mid lane. I think they've given up on the top lane. I think it was a bit ambitious. You didn't have a tower to protect you, and instead they want to keep their Calista safe in the mid lane. And Lulu, someone who, quite frankly, can just chill by herself. She has a lot of peel for herself and quite safe against the Kazakhs.
Absolutely, yeah, no, that's the important thing. Mobility is king, and Hades isn't able to get directly on top, then potentially not going to be able to follow up either.
Yeah, I believe the next dragon will be an Infernal. So you can see EXCEL setting up 1 minute and 10 seconds away, and they're trying to get control of the area prior to it starting. And you can see Hades wanted to trade off this blue buff to give some mana to Shockwave, but in return they've given up so much control of the dragon area, and with gold being this even, you can't just waltz in there and try and take it back.
Backs up. Damage onto Shogun. The Seismic Shove dodged out here. Thresh Look will connect, and now it's going to be the Bro ult to try and keep himself alive. But it isn't going to happen, and that's such a crucial ability lost.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is that you see that the enemy are taking vision, and you have to try and get it back slowly. Shogun went a bit too fast, and in return trades his life. EXCEL now wanting to go aggressive in the mid lane.
Yeah, Jokerism trying to clear the way, but it's Shockwave in trouble as Sendo throws him around. Ultimate does connect, and here comes the Kazakhs. Hades trying to clean things up. Lulu ultimate, the wild growth gonna make Sendo giant, and he will survive as the mid lane turret falls down. Now it's Hades between a rock and a hard place. Finds one, maybe more. Rippy no, will not fall. And currently EXCEL in a good position to head down to that Drake. I say that, Igloo says no, come here.
Yeah, I think EXCEL should get rewarded with the Drake here, but still, that was such a good play from Hades. It looked so bad, and then he turned it around and using the invisibility actually convinced Sendo to take a tower hit, but looks like Igloo's contesting.
Oh, flashing and ulting. Gonna walk away from that. Mundo goes where he pleases.
Yeah, this is what happens when there's an Infernal Drake. Neither team wants to really give it up, especially when scaling might become very relevant in this game. I did give the edge to MNM slightly, but it's not clear-cut, and will get picked up by the Kalista. The power of this champion, if you get control of an objective, you get control of the area, very easy to secure.
Yeah, that is going to happen. Sendo looking to jump over the wall to safety, will be able to do so. Maybe even the turnaround coming through as Venza wants to push on forward.
I've done that before. You have your support ulted and he's just like, nah, not interested, see ya, mate.
All of this happening, the Rift Herald does get put down in the mid lane. MNM going to now move on over and potentially try and get some usage out of that. We'll have to see. Sendo is there to try and clear it up, and they're taking a lot of damage from this Orianna ball.
Yeah, and Rift Herald going to do a fair chunk in this mid tower. Boom. Not low enough to take right now. Looks like EXCEL.
Oh, the Shockwave! Taxon locked up completely. Shogun with a follow-up, and that will be the mid lane tower going down.
Never mind. Great play from Shockwave. Ult was in just the position that even if you flash, you still get caught in it. And great follow-up from Shogun. My MVP so far has been Shogun. I mean, apart from getting caught out there, he's done great so far in this game.
Oh, we jump into the replay here, see exactly how that one did go down. Maybe not, as currently everyone is pushing. We don't want to lose out on any of the action here. Moving up into the top side is EXCEL, really looking to try and catch out Jokerism here. Quickstep going to flay him through, looking for the hook at point blank. It is dodged, but I don't think it matters. Jokerism will get locked up, and Sendo will be able to find the kill.
And this is a problem. Once that mid outer tower has gone down, the top one sticks out like a sore thumb. EXCEL easily able to shove mid in and collapse. Jokerism saw it coming, tried to move out, even dodged the prediction hook, but it's not enough when there's 4 members at EXCEL trying to shut you down. And although the gold is still close here, EXCEL really have the tempo control now, and they're looking to keep pushing on it.
Yeah, definitely. As Hades going to clear out vision, it is still this top side that is under threat. Igloo has teleport available, but doesn't really have the support yet to go on in. Taxa going a bit of a dodgy route.
What is he doing?
He's just having fun.
Yeah,
Surfing
why not?
along the wall, you got that movement speed.
Safes
it's
up.
easy.
I think... Alright, I'm going to theorize here.
Go for it.
I'm looking at the trajectory of where his ult was going. I think he was trying to block them off, but he did it too early. There wasn't the range, and so he just nearly ended up inting. But nice attempt. They got some damage on the tower at least, so can't complain too much.
And Igloo's actually able to hold on to his teleport, which is a really important fact. Still has that over Sendo. Not that MNM are really in a position right now to be making the macro plays that forces EXCEL's hand.
Yeah, and Sendo actually nearly finishing his pull off, but he is on a point where he's sitting on the Executioner's Calling, great against the Mundo. He has that Black Cleaver, which is a big spike for the Ergot. So again, this is when they have the advantage on the side of EXCEL. They spike well in the mid game. Kalista on a 2-item spike. Lulu has a ton of utility. They want to keep making plays here, whereas honestly, MNM wouldn't mind waiting a bit longer. You don't have the 2 items on your Lucian yet. Your Mundo wants to get level 16 so he becomes unkillable. And frankly, the Orianna doesn't mind if she has 6 items before she really has to team fight. But, you know, scaling champion, happy to keep waiting.
Zendo cashes in here, is going to head back up. So sad when there's only 4 minions left and you have to.
Oh, it's so frustrating. And then your teammates are like, you're like, oh, can I take these minions? I need it for my. Oh, nope, never mind. You just one hit the wave. So annoying. This is why I don't play any role that needs a call. I play support. You know, don't have to deal with. Actually, to be fair, I say that when you're playing support and you have stacks on your target and that, you just trigger me. I can't discuss this.
20 minutes. Have a lapse here, Ox. So I'll try and untrigger you here. Baron has a spawn, and look at the vision control that EXCEL have formed already. Yeah,
good move from MNM to pick up that Skull Crab. Gives them a little bit of reprieve, but you can see the vision control is so much on the side of EXCEL. And as a result, they're going to try and... this is what they'll do. They'll shove mid in, they'll rotate back. They shove mid in, rotate back. They either look for an opportunity to take the Baron for free, or they look for a pick. You can see Hades knows this, and he's trying to posture so he can step up and contest. But he's such a dangerous position to be in. Thresh has so much pick potential, and EXCEL are just pushing their vision control further and further up.
It's kind of unreal to say this is the longest game EXCEL have played this season.
Yeah, I mean, it is really long. You know, I'm getting a bit tired, guys. Can you wrap this one up?
21 minutes in, and just looking for their opportunity to strike at Baron. Zendo with teleport up, currently continuously pushing in. And here comes the engage. Rippy on the flank. Quickset flashes over the wall, but doesn't land the hook. And MNM now with a chance to turn this one around. The seismic shove easily dodged on out. So far, so good for MNM. Yeah, oh, it's going to be the ultimate. In fact, they're going in. It's going to be the ultimate. Oh, it's a 3-man. Everyone gets pulled on in. And Tax are in so much trouble. 2 kills already for MNM. 3 make it. All of them are dead. And Zendo down in bot lane didn't even know what happened. It's going to be a Baron for MNM.
I mean, we should have expected it. His name is Shockwave, but it was huge. 4-man Shockwave. That's what you need is MNM. That's how you're going to win in team fight. It happened, and now they're in a situation where, I mean, unless Zendo makes some miracle play, which, I mean, props to him if he does, but it seems very unlikely. They're going to secure the Baron here. Zendo is just giving it his best, decides, nah, you're all right, mate. And Baron goes over to MNM. Again, goal leave only slight now, but the tempo's now on their side.
Let's look at that shotgun with the setup here, with the initial ultimate coming through, but here comes that Shockwave.
Yeah, ball positions in, hits all 4 members. Venza just dashed into it, and although they take Shogun out, they lose so much HP here. The follow-up is instantly there from Jokerism and Hades, and then it's just easy cleanup. Everyone's on low HP. Hades gets in the bush, gets a pick up onto Rippy, and it's clean from there.
Absolutely beautiful play from MNM, and they have struck whilst the iron is hot. The Baron now ready to go. They're going to move down to this Ocean Drake and get that regen as well. Looks like it's time to start pushing.
Yeah, and obviously any objectives MNM can get now are great, but the biggest victory there is the fact that not only did they swing the gold a bit into their favor and the tempo, but EXCEL's criteria was to win mid-game, get a Baron, and start to really get towards ending the game off that. They now not only have to defend against the Baron, it's another 7 minutes till the next one, well 6 now, and it's just elongated the game for so long, and it's going to leave opportunity for MNM to really scale up. And on top of that, they're going to start picking up towers here, and just getting themselves towards that late game point where Mundo's unkillable, where Orianna Shockwave does even more damage than it just did in our last team fight.
Yeah, it looked like Rippy may wanted to base race solo, but he is going to pop the poet back to base, and now for MNM it's just a case of pressure game. Minion wave's not really great for them. That's the one thing EXCEL have really set up. The push in the top lane and in the mid lane is favorable for EXCEL, meaning that MNM not going to get as much from this Baron as necessary, but it's not really about that. It's about taking back the priority in this game. Whoa. Classic 0.5 second recall. Easy.
Yeah, that was close. Yeah,
would have been very sad.
Calculated, I think, is what I would type in all chat, but, you know, I think it was a good decision from MNM to reset, but just a bit of a macro misplay and not having the wave shoved. But honestly, it's not going to affect them massively. They still have the Baron for a third of the duration. I think they should look to get another outer turret here. And then the key thing is just because you have the pressure, because you have the wave shoved in, you can establish vision control and just set up the game into a position that's safe for you. You're in the advantage. If the game keeps going on for longer and longer, this Orianna is going to become so strong. She already has a CS lead, already has a gold lead on the Lulu, and is out scaling, as you can see. That was a lot of damage. Rippy caught a bit off guard, didn't manage to ult, but Yeah, I mean, when you name Shockwave, you would think you'd be pretty good at Orianna, and Shockwave really showing up here on that champ.
I'm not a drafting expert, but Orianna ban?
Yeah, might be, might well be. I just, to me, I ask, is there anything EXCEL could have done to see this coming? Could we have seen anything from MNM that maybe presented that they like to play Orianna? I don't know. Do you think there's anything, Dowsey?
There's a 1 in his name.
True.
Orianna, 1 trick.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll have to keep wondering. And it looks like MNM aren't going to wonder. They're going to take this top tower. So that's now all 3 of those inner turrets secured. Big gold lead going over to them at 3k. We did see it pop up on the screen there. Massive between the 2 mid laners. And we talked about how Rippy has been wanted to be this rock for EXCEL who can facilitate the rest of the team. And although we did fine in that in the early game, he hasn't really found his footing. And he's on a champion that is very quickly getting outscaled.
That's the really interesting thing. You mentioned it's a 3k gold lead. That's actually just in the mid lane.
Yeah,
absolutely just in the mid lane. Shockwave literally has 3,000 gold more than Rippy has, and MNM have 3,000 gold more than EXCEL has.
Yeah, and although Rippy just managed to edge into that Rabadon sooner, Shockwave is very close to it. He already has the Morellonomicon on top of that. So, and you can see when it happened in that one shot, the amount of damage there. Closing in on level 16. This is really where MNM starts to take control, when their comp starts to really be so hard to deal with. Because the main thing is that if you want to win team fights, Venza's going to have to put out a lot of the damage to cut through Igloo. But there's just such a threat of the Shockwave. You're playing a Kalista who's a short-range carry. I mean, honestly, everyone on the side of EXCEL is short-range.
Yep.
And that's why it's so difficult to deal with an Orianna, because you'll just one-hit you.
Oh no, Sendo's in trouble. The Brombolt comes out, but Hades decides he wants to come back. Beautiful flare to bring them on back in, and Hades, well, he's in a bad place.
This the seismic shove predicted where Hades, even he flashed into it, he just didn't see it coming, didn't see it in the bushes. Great from Taxa, semi-intentional, sort of got a bit lucky, but still, great pick onto Hades, and that's what they needed.
Let's just watch that back. And it
Yeah,
was the setup really onto this, this Ogre.
Oh yeah, he jumped into it when he was invisible. I mean, Taxa went fishing and he caught a pretty big fish.
Yep, Kazakhs. Nice stuff there. And that's the one thing I want to say is that, you know, it's a 3,000 gold lead to MNM, and that's in the mid lane. But it's only in the mid lane. Venza currently outperforming Jokerism on farm. Sendo, of course, outperforming Igloo on farm. And so these 2 marksmen that EXCEL have for themselves are still pretty decent as far as gold is concerned.
Yeah, and you can see EXCEL wanting to make a push from this tempo advantage, but still quite dangerous. This is... Ooh, who comes in?
Catch out the Brom. Shogun getting pulled on in here. Doesn't have the ultimate to disengage. Venza not looking to re-engage here. Actually, in fact, it may just be Hades going on in. That's going to be a hook. That's going to be a hook onto a Jokerism. The Seismic shove pushing back, but he flashes on. It's a quick step. Shockwave doesn't hit anyone, but I don't think it even matters at this point. 2 kills already for MNM, and we're going for more. 1 taken out as Sendo pulls on in Hades to death, but Venza is melting, and he is dead to all right. Sendo, will he be able to escape, or is it going to be a letter sent to his mother? Looks like he is going to jump away, but here it comes. The Brom, and a Shockwave will be able to clean that one up with the help of Shogun. It is a complete wipe there for MNM. Only Taxa surviving. Great turnaround from them.
Yeah, is enough time for EXCEL to respawn and defend, but they're definitely going to lose an inhibitor here, and I think that just shows how strong MNM are right now. Actually, they're going to recall, not even going for it. One in this setup for the Baron. Smart decision not to overcommit, but the Shockwave missed everyone on the side of EXCEL, and still they hard won that team fight. And it just shows how strong MNM is right now. The threat of Hades is obscene. You can't walk anywhere freely as Venza. You're constantly under pressure because not just Hades, but Shockwave's ult as well. And then Mundo was just unkillable. It seemed like Venza, whenever he put auto attacks into him, he was healing through it.
Incredible stuff so far from MNM, really withstanding the early game pressure that EXCEL have been throwing their way. Shogun still so tanky, not even concerned that Taxa is throwing stuff at him.
Yeah, and we can see on the bot lane, MNM actually have the push here. So big wave on their side. And this is something that's going to have to be dealt with at some point by Sendo, and Jokerism getting the push in the top. So although they're giving up some vision control on Baron, in return they're getting the sideway push. So EXCEL's going to have to answer those fairly soon, and that's when MNM have the opportunity to sweep in.
You see that the vision control around this Baron pit is immense so far from EXCEL, but MNM are okay with that right now. That giant wave pushing down in the bot side, going to have to call Sendo over at some point. For EXCEL, it's either execute now, or you basically give up the entirety that you've been working towards. The hook from Quicksef not quite able to land on a key target. That's going to be the the backport broken. And that is everything broken for EXCEL here. That is complete tempo control in MNM's favor. Yeah, and they obviously have to go on answer that huge bot wave, and it now gives control to MNM. They might even just try and start off the Baron at bare minimum to pull a fight out of EXCEL. It's so hard to push into this Baron area when you know there's a threat of a huge shockwave. And yep, they're going to start it up. Right. EXCEL have to contest. They have to contest, but how do you get past shockwave? Shockwave is the question. Well, the clear wall starts on up. It is going to be Quicksef pulled on back. Brom ult not quite connecting where you wanted. In fact, it wasn't a Brom ult. I am dumb. It's a seismic shove. So far, EXCEL have pushed them back. Hades takes a lot of damage here. They don't want to really contest with their Kha'Zix solo, backing on top of a ward here as well. Yeah, it was a good play from EXCEL. They let Quicksef overextend and then used the Kalista ult to pull them out. The problem is advantage goes to MNM. That big wave just crashed. It's a lot of lost gold for EXCEL, and not just that, they burn the TP from the Urgot. Igloo can now go bot lane and freely push, and he knows if Sendo answers, he's not going to be able to TP. EXCEL have decided to pick up this Ocean Drake, but there's a big risk. MNM just go for the Baron now, and that's exactly looks like they've seen that opportunity. Yeah, there's a scout cam, scout ward, able to just find things out. Drake does go the way of MNM, of EXCEL, sorry, but MNM are taking this Baron down with such speed. Easily able to secure before Taxa gets in position. Now he's slowed, and he's slowed again. He's stunned on up. He's just dead to Jokerism. Quicksef going to be the next one, and he will fall down with such speed. And EXCEL completely out-rotated. Yeah, I like the... looks like we're still seeing more. You can't escape the Mundo. Sendo gets cleaved. Will they be able to get into position is the question. Shockwave's still available. Is going to just be the fallback. I mean, this is the problem. Is like, yeah, you can sort of run away from MNM. They don't have that great engage, but you can never go into them because the Shockwave will just absolutely decimate you. I mean, I say the Shockwave. Shockwave will decimate you. You don't even need to cast his ult. Just a QW will probably kill any of the squishies on the side of EXCEL. Only one who can bear the brunt of that is probably Sendo, but even then, he's not going to enjoy the experience. A difference of styles so far. Expertly executed by MNM. That's going to be the first inhibitor falling, and it looks like top is going to be shortly after. Turret is gone, inhibitor is gone. Quicksef not quite able to find the hook, which means that MNM can finish the job here and just fall back. No need to go for more. Yeah, that's the thing, is that they still have a large amount of the Baron left. You now have 2 waves of super minions push in. Easy just to headbot, shove that in, take a 3rd inhibitor, and then the game's yours. I have to question EXCEL's decision making. I like the idea to send the Lulu bot lane. Did have TP available and can defend, but then there was no reason to go for that Ocean Drake. It's not going to do anything for you, and it just put you in a position where you could lose a Baron. I mean, that was the assumption, was that it wasn't going to be any vision over there, since there'd been such a commit from MNM to pull the vision. Hades potentially caught out, flashes over the wall in Viz. I think that's going to be okay, and here comes Igloo saying, time to fight. Sendo's on the wrong side of the map, and with no teleport available, EXCEL do have to fall back. Yeah, it was a good play from EXCEL, to be honest. It's what you need to do when you're this far behind. You know the super minion waves are going to be pushing in mid and top. You go for an early pick when you still don't have all the pressure on you. They're going for it again, but the problem is they've been routed. It's a Mundo, but he does not have ultimate. Igloo takes a lot of damage. He will just fall, you would think. There's not going to be no response from MNM, who are just going to push down this lane continuously. That's a good start for EXCEL. The pick onto the tank, who does have teleport, but a 50-second cooldown on that death timer. Yeah, so definitely the pick you wanted. I thought it wasn't actually going to work when they went for there, but they managed to pick up Igloo. They do lose this bot tower, but at this point, towers are like paper, so not too important for you. The key thing is they kept that 3rd inhibitor alive. They're going to push MNM back here. 30 seconds still on Igloo. EXCEL not going to be really given an opportunity to find the team fight just yet, unless MNM decide that they want it. I mean, that's the thing, is that even if you manage to kill the Igloo in a team fight, which is so hard, even if someone oversteps like Hades or Jokers and you kill them, this Orianna has both sums, hasn't used them for like the past, I mean, the whole game it feels like at this point, and she's just happy to sit pretty and pump out so much damage. And you can see that shield as well from Orianna is huge. There's the teleport coming in immediately from Igloo. MNM are committing to go for this inhibitor. Is going to be welcomed with a seismic shove. Quicksef moving in the Wild Grove to try and keep him alive. The Brahma ult, though, keeping everyone else back. and that's going to be Sendo popped into the Resurrect whilst Lulu Rippy falls. It's just disaster for EXCEL as they lose Quicksef and they lose Sendo. Taxa next to follow, and it is only Venza left alive, hopping and bouncing away, but it's not going to mean anything. MNM have done what was necessary. They've outscaled EXCEL here in this game, and they will take the first of the series.
Yeah, congratulations to MNM. Great performance of them, and this is how you want to start the series off. Yes, I mean, on the very early levels, there was some shakiness, but as soon as they got that great team fight for them and that Baron, they just completely took control of the game, and props to Shockwave, definitely the MVP for that one.
Shockwave playing Orianna. Who would have thunk it? Maybe some of our Twitter analysts predicted that one right. Celtic Tiger.
Is back.
He's back.
Yeah.
Freed.
Looking beautiful.
From analyst prison.
It's like you've evolved over this broadcast.
I always do. But I think the big thing is that, you know, you saw they started to slow down a bit. It was looking fairly even, and Orianna. Jump into the middle of a fight, giant shockwaves, a few, like, I think it was about 2 key ones, and they were just massively far ahead in gold. And from there, they played it really far, like, really heavy engaged because they could. And as we predicted, they can't really kill the Mundo at that point. They scaled really well. And I was worried about the Kazakhs pick in the late game, but you actually saw in all those fights, EXCEL weren't able to peel them off properly.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, the Shockwave did so much damage. EXCEL were forced to then separate. They go their separate ways. That's when Kazakhs becomes strong, when everyone is isolated.
They both complement each other so well. It's like, if you stick together, you can defend against the Kazakhs. Shockwave's going to catch you. If you separate, well, yeah, you're not going to get Shockwave, but then Kazakhs just going to murder you all. And
that's the really important thing that I kind of want to highlight, because as we get the replay reel going, you're going to see some fantastic Shockwave play from Shockwave 1. But there was a couple that missed.
His name's Orianna's ultimate.
Yeah, but he only needs 1 shockwave. That's his name.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he only needed one to win that game. Yeah. Realistically. That 4-man one was enough. He probably could have AFK'd after that point. I think EXCEL's mental just got a bit boom after that point. Yeah, a bit boom indeed. I mean, I'm harping on about it, but EXCEL so far have just demolished opponents in the first round of the scoring stage. And this is something that potentially they were hoping they could continue throughout the tournament, those quick games. You talked about it. Gold changes mean that snowballing isn't as prevalent now in patch 8.13. Potentially, maybe we're seeing something like that happen here. Yeah, well, I think once they sort of started to caught up, they really managed to swing it back in their favor. So,
yeah, I mean, even have a look at this here. You could see that it started out looking fairly good for EXCEL. They had the early fights, they had the early movements, but I think we'll start to see a bit later on that MNM started playing the map that little bit better, started evening out these trades, and then suddenly pulled ahead.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, that ult from Shogun was so good. I mean, I think that's the thing, is that there was some excellent play from MNM, from like various members of their team. I don't think, obviously, Shockwave, great performance. As you can see, another great ult there. Great from him, but I think everyone on the team pulled their weight. And although they had some slippy moments, I mean, this is where it really paid off. Yeah. Huge 4-man Shockwave, but you can see Hades and Jokerism are there to follow up. The engage initially came from Shogun. They're working as a team, and they're working effectively. And it's weird to say that EXCEL made 2 roster changes, and they look a bit mixed up, a bit not together, whereas MNM are a completely new roster. Right. The only remaining one is the AD carry, and yet they look coordinated. And that's the thing. MNM was one of the last Premiership teams to announce their roster. Maybe they were keeping it under wraps. But, you know, it's pretty exciting stuff for MNM coming out here so strong.
I think the big thing, we were talking about this before, EXCEL have been looking like the strongest team in the UK. If you can upset them, you now look like the strongest team effectively. I'm very interested to see whether MNM can maintain this form. If they could take this series, how do they look at the rest of Fortune Champions?
That's the important thing. It is a best-of-3 series, gentlemen. Yeah. There's a lot of thinking to do in the EXCEL camp. You've been there before.
In more ways than one,
blame the jungler. Blame the jungler. That's my go-to.
I mean, I want to compliment Taxa. Every time that MNM seemingly took an advantage, Taxa was there on the other side of the map, taking it right back. That was kind of the way. Fault. That was the way the play kind of went for EXCEL. The issue is that if you play a team comp that's meant to snowball, then going even doesn't really work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it felt like they were getting slight advantages, but it just wasn't enough. And all it took was one big play from MNM just to completely reverse all. And I think maybe it's worth going for a draft, because obviously it is an early game focused draft meta, but we've had a patch where it shifted slightly, and it seems that maybe this was working great for them. Maybe they were having scrims, and the rest of the tournament before this, and like, you know, whenever we got a lead like this, we closed out, we snowballed. they didn't happen here, and maybe you need to ask yourself, do we need to change things up a bit, give ourselves a bit more of a late game win condition?
It does seem that potentially that might be the case. We'll have to find out. We will be jumping into picks and bans shortly, but before we do so, we're going to throw it to a break. So stick with us, Game 2 of MNM EXCEL shortly.